The African National Congress, ANC, hitherto emblazoned as the liberation movement that ushered in democracy in South Africa, now finds itself teetering on unstable ground following an incandescent and historic clash between President Cyril Ramaphosa and ANC chairperson Gwede Mantashe. What transpired within the ANC's National Executive Committee, NEC, meeting has set many political analysts sounding the alarm that the party is embarking on its worst crisis to date, one that would decide not only the fate of its leadership but also the fate of South African politics overall. The NEC meeting was supposed to be a routine closed-door session dealing with urgent issues regarding the economy, governance, and readiness for future elections. Instead, it became the platform for an explosive showdown that turned public. The event, which insiders have characterized as dialectic and unprecedented, has demonstrated just how fragile the internal strength of the ANC has become. According to multiple sources familiar with the meeting, Mantashe launched a direct assault on Ramaphosa's leadership, accusing him of being indecisive, weak, and increasingly disconnected from both the party and the people. The frustration in Mantashe's voice reportedly echoed what many rank-and-file ANC supporters have been whispering for months. Mantashe is alleged to have been especially scathing about Ramaphosa's inability to offer clear leadership on South Africa's most urgent problems: unemployment, widespread load shedding, and increasing restlessness among the ANC's traditional core vote. "Comrade President, you are losing touch with the movement. You sit in silence while the country burns. Our members are agitated and the ANC is hemorrhaging," Mantashe is said to have exclaimed, pounding his fist on the table for effect. The statement resonated with some NEC members, most of whom are themselves under attack from their local constituencies. Ramaphosa, never one for displays of temper, did not appreciate the public dressing down. Witnesses recall that the president became increasingly agitated, his demeanor moving from defensive to downright combative. "I will not sit here and be disrespected," Ramaphosa is quoted as having shot back. "I have worked day and night to keep this party together while others are destroying it. The divisions you are creating will kill us all." His retort indicated that the divide among the party's most senior leaders ran far more deeply than anyone had realized. The argument apparently continued for almost 20 minutes, with other NEC members trying to get in the way but not being able to quell either man. Shouting, accusations, and emotional appeals alternated with the angry exchange. What shocked everyone in the room, however, was the abrupt decision by Ramaphosa to rise from his seat, collect his papers, and storm out of the meeting. For a sitting ANC president to storm out of an NEC meeting was virtually unimaginable, and it left a cloud of disbelief and stunned silence in the air. The walkout has since triggered a political firestorm in the ANC. Within hours and days of the confrontation, news of what had happened leaked into the media, stoking speculation over whether the leadership of the ANC was close to imploding. Others have aligned themselves with Mantashe, arguing that his statement captures the increasing frustration among grassroots supporters who feel Ramaphosa's highly hyped New Dawn has not delivered on promises of radical transformation. For them, his leadership has been so hesitant to the point of indecision that the party has been left exposed to internal rot and outside pressure. Others see Mantashe's actions as irresponsible and divisive, depriving the party of the credibility to project a united image at a moment of national importance in its history. For them, the chairperson's public lashing endangered factional splits at a time when the ANC desperately needs unity above all else. The clash was the most fiery confrontation since the Thabo Mbeki and Jacob Zuma era, when internal battles within the party spilled into the open and transformed the nation's political scene. Another warned, if the chairperson and the president cannot agree, then the ANC is going to crash. The harm done from this point on will not be reversed. The timing of the confrontation could not have been worse. The ANC is already struggling with falling support throughout the country, with recent opinion polls indicating that the party of government might drop below 50% in future national elections for the first time ever in its history. The possibility has shaken the leadership of the ANC and encouraged opposition parties who feel an opportunity to reconfigure the political landscape in South Africa. Internal factional wars have also weakened the party. On one end are Ramaphosa supporters and his reform agenda, which has centered on purging corruption and stabilizing the economy. On the other are members who support former President Jacob Zuma's radical economic transformation elements and accuse Ramaphosa of selling out the ANC's revolutionary heritage. And then there are those mobilizing around individuals such as Deputy President Paul Moshetel, who embody another power base in the splintered organization. Mantashe, widely regarded as kingmaker in the ANC, has always been one of Ramaphosa's strongest defenders. His abrupt and ferocious denunciation indicates that even some of the president's closest allies are beginning to get tired. Analysts are convinced that Mantashe's broadside was not spontaneous, but a deliberate action to tell others in the party that Ramaphosa's leadership is no longer unquestionable. For most plain South Africans, the conflict is something more than a political spat. It is a reflection of a liberation movement lost in a sea of sufferment. Rather than being preoccupied with fixing unemployment, crime, corruption, and poverty, the bread and butter concerns of daily life, the ANC's leadership elite seem engrossed in power struggles among themselves. This has been gradually chipping away at the party's moral legitimacy, which once was invincible. Political commentators caution that this latest episode may spell the end of the beginning of the ANC's precarious unity. If Ramaphosa is unable to reassert his authority and heal fissures with top leaders such as Mantashe, the party will implode under the pressure of its own contradictions. Such an implosion would not only remake the ANC, it would destabilize the foundations of South African politics. The stakes for the nation are huge. The ANC is more than a political party, it has been the governing force since 1994, influencing every major policy initiative and defining the nation's agenda. Its fall or collapse would send a seismic shock through the nation's politics, inviting opposition parties such as the Democratic Alliance, DA, the Economic Freedom Fighters, EFF, and emergent coalitions to take unprecedented gains. Some political pundits contend that this moment may even hasten the trend towards coalition politics in South Africa, where no party has a clear majority. Such a development would fundamentally alter the character of governance, compelling long-time opponents to collaborate in ways previously unimaginable.